Hello, and welcome to this episode of Apricot 360 Training. In this video, we will cover how to submit an invoice through the Apricot system. To submit an invoice, you first need to log into Apricot. You can do this by searching apricot.socialsolutions.com, or you can access the login screen from the First 5 Butte County webpage by navigating to the For Partners section, selecting the Managing Your Grant page, and clicking the Log into Apricot 360 button. So go ahead and log into the system. This is your home page in Apricot. My page will look different than yours. It will have a little bit more information than yours, and that's okay. To submit an invoice, the first thing you need to do is over here in the left-hand menu is open the search records section and navigate to the Contractor Profile. The Contractor Profile page on your screen should only include the organization or agency name for your contract. So go ahead and select your agency or organization, and you should now be in your document folder. The document folder is where your contract and annual budgets live, and where you can submit your invoice. To submit an invoice, you need to create a new invoice by clicking this little page icon with the plus sign. If you click that, a blank invoice form will open. First, fill out the details section with the invoice date, the interval that you are invoicing for, whether it is monthly or quarterly, and the invoice number. If your agency or organization does not include invoice numbers, feel free to title this as the month or quarter that you're invoicing for. I will call this August 2021. Next, you will want to select the contract and annual budget that you're invoicing against. If you have multiple contracts with First 5, they will all show here in this drop down. If you have one, you will only see the one option, the one contract that you have. Select the annual budget, and that will automatically populate your invoice form with the information from your approved annual budget. Okay, all of the line items in your approved annual budget that have money associated with them will show up on your invoice form. Submit the dollar amounts in each of the line items for your invoice. I will input some numbers. Some arbitrary numbers. Into the cells. Okay. The first thing you'll notice is under each section, the system will automatically add up a subtotal for that section for you. Okay. As well as down here in the direct expenses subtotal. You also have the ability to include your indirect costs. Be very careful though, over here on the right side, you can see it includes the indirect cost rate from your approved annual budget. For this particular contract, the approved annual budget has an indirect cost rate of 15%, 0.15. The system will not stop you from submitting an invoice with an indirect cost rate higher than the indirect cost rate approved in your annual budget, okay? If I put, let's see, arbitrary numbers, a much larger indirect rate, it will tell me the indirect cost rate exceeds the rate in my annual budget, but I could still submit this invoice. So be sure that you are watching for the warnings and reading the warnings and adjusting your invoice appropriately. Another really nice feature of the invoice is these columns, okay? So the first column here is the total annual budget for that line item that has been approved. So we know that the management line item for personnel has $9,000 assigned to it. There have not been any other invoices submitted for this particular budget and contract. So there is $0 approved to date. The amount remaining in this budget is still $9,000 since we have not approved any other invoices. But it is also showing us that we have a projected budget remaining of $6,000 because we are filling out $3,000 in this line item. So as you continue to invoice through your contract, you will be able to closely monitor where your budget is at for each of your line items. Okay. Down here in the attachment sections, we do request that you continue to submit and upload any of your supporting documentation for your invoice, receipts, any type of documentation that your fiscal department creates. So you can upload those by choosing a file, and it could be a PDF, a Word, Excel, any type of file you need to upload, you can do so. Down here in submission, there is an attestation saying that you are declaring that the information and the dollar amounts that you are inputting into your invoice are correct to your knowledge. And if I click yes, then I am now able to save this invoice, okay? Saving is how you submit your invoice. So over here on the right-hand side of your screen, you have your record options. And the first one here is Save Record. So if I click Save Record, that will send a notification to First 5 staff that an invoice has been submitted. There are some other useful things down here in the Record Save checklist. If you ever see an X, that means that you still need to submit or fill out a field within your invoice, okay? Any of these line items that have dollar amounts associated with them will need a dollar amount in your invoice. So if you do not have any dollar amount to invoice against occupancy for this invoice, you would need to put 0, okay? Or else the invoice will not submit in the system. So let's go ahead and hit Save Record. And this step you will not need to do on your side. It will already just submit for you. So save the record, and you should get a notification at the top, record created, click anywhere to reload the page. So that is your notification that you have submitted the invoice and that a notification has gone to First 5 Butte. If you have any questions or you get stuck with submitting an invoice, feel free to either contact your contract manager or you can email first5funding@buttecounty.net. Be sure to check out the other episodes of Apricot Training to learn how to navigate the system and submit any type of performance reporting.